I think guy is American. I'm sure of it from his accent, from what I've been able to check. But this, I think, is regarding the Brooklyn Mirage fiasco. So if you guys know, there's a club in New York called Brooklyn Mirage that had gone for a refurbishment. And they had like a huge lineup of events happening in this summer all the way until the fucking winter and shit, locked in. But I guess the refurbishments haven't gone to plan, and they've had to cancel a bunch of events. And or they haven't been as, the refurbishments haven't gone as quickly as they probably would have hoped to have gone. And now they have to cancel a bunch of events, and a lot of people are really upset, especially New York kind of scene. People are really, really upset about this because a lot of the events were with a lot of kind of like, well-known DJs and shit, and they're really looking forward to these events, and now they're all being locked off super last minute and shit. So this person is talking about maybe the reasons, the delays that have been due to the Mirage not reopening, with it maybe being too overproduced, that they try to do too much with the club, which is what's causing the delays. And really, there's not necessary to do all that much with the club. Just create a good experience. Don't need to have too many bells and whistles. So let's see what this person says about this, and I'm going to react to it as we play the video.
The whole Brooklyn Mirage fiasco has me thinking a lot about like raves and production and what makes a good party, because they spent all that time making the new Brooklyn Mirage with all these bells and whistles, but who asked for the bells and whistles? Okay.
To be fair, I did see the picture of it, and it looks fucking amazing. The idea that they had for it, like I don't know if they got it up on the Google, but the Brooklyn Mirage idea behind it, what Brooklyn Mirage renovation plans. If they actually did do it, it would have been amazing. If they did do it in time, it would have looked super, super cool. But it didn't actually go down time. But from what I see, right? So let's see what the AI says here. The Brooklyn Mirage is undergoing a major renovation. Will reopen in May 1st, which obviously hasn't reopened yet. With redesigned space that includes a monumental timber structure, expanded dance floor, enhanced safety measures. The venue is being reimagined as an electronic opera house with 270-degree virtual environment, kinetic shutters, and custom-built speakers. Right? I personally think that sounds really exciting, because I think in general, club design, dance floor designs are just pretty basic and shitty. But I actually really did fuck with this design that they were trying to go for. Very adventurous, right? Very, 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 very adventurous. But I don't know. That looks really cool to me, bro. That stage design, that design for the dance floor looks fucking incredible. With these fucking balcony things on the edge, that looks really fucking cool. And I guess this back bit here is probably LED screens that you could get different projections on. This looks like it's open air. Maybe the roof retracts after, if it starts to rain, maybe the roof retracts and it lets in light, or it has LEDs here too. So the actual idea behind it is pretty fucking cool. It's just a shame they couldn't pull it off in time. But I think it looks really cool personally. I'm not gonna lie. I think it looks really fucking cool. So the idea behind it was actually pretty decent, but it didn't go as planned in terms of actually getting it done.
Okay. You know what I look for in a dance music event? I look for good music, good sound, so you can listen to the good music. And I think that if those two things exist, oftentimes the crowd is quite good. So then I just need room to dance and a drink that costs me less than $18.
I don't think so. I don't think good sound and good thing just attract a good crowd. The crowd has to be almost cultivated. The crowd might be more important than the actual design of the space, to be fair. And it's really difficult to do. And I imagine places like in America, or I don't know. I'd imagine places like America, personally, with how they are with money and shit, they probably don't respond well. They probably wouldn't respond too well to door picking, innit? Because I'm thinking about actually, one of those girls that went viral actually from America, they were, I think they might be from New York. Those girls that went viral a few years ago that were like complaining about not getting let into the basement and talking about, oh my God, like all my friends, look how multicultural we are. I can't believe this, of being really pissed off. And they all look really white, even though she was saying they were kind of Jewish or some shit. I forgot what it was. But I think a lot of Americans probably won't respond well to door picking, but door picking is really the only way you can kind of cultivate a really good community and shit and kind of keep things on the whatever. But I don't think it's a problem to try and be adventurous and try and maybe push the boundaries and actually try something new and fresh when it comes to the design of the club. Because that also adds the experience. Like if they were able to pull off the renderings that we just saw, that club would have been pretty sick. If they were able to pull it off in time with the different types of artists that are going to be booked over, that would have been booked there, it would have been a pretty cool spectacle. It didn't work out in the end, but I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to do something a bit more adventurous and not just going for the standard fucking, warehouse space vibes, whatever else, exposed bricks type of sort of thing. Like just trying to make it look a little bit more fancy Try and make it more of an experience. Try and make it more of a thing to kind of, kind of gawk at and shit. And maybe that will kind of help with the overall experience of raving. There's nothing wrong with that, personally. Maybe I'm sitting from the wrong position. I don't know.
I don't know about everybody. I don't need floor-to-ceiling LED screens to have fun. I don't need lasers that hit the back of my skull. I don't need Medusa banging on the spheres that my friend over there has an ego death and has to go home mid-rave. We have lost the plot and the...
That's fair. That's fair. You don't need those things, but it does add to it. And I think, to be fair, there are more clubs that are basic, just rectangle, square rooms, that dark walls, huge speaker stacks, and DJ booths, in the corner or whatever, in the back or whatever. That's what most clubs are like, right? There are some that have LEDs and shit and smoke machines and all this malarkey, but most clubs are quite bare bones. So if you do make a club and design one that's a little bit more adventurous and has a more, has some more like sparkle around it, I think you should be like, I won't say rewarded, congratulated, but I think you should be given the benefit of the doubt and better grace. They just try and do something different. It's annoying because they guys live there and they're in the local community and they're wanting to go to type of events, but I don't think you should be punished for trying to do something or ridiculed for trying to push the envelope a little bit.
Programming at these events is getting worse. The production is moving up to try and compensate for it. Girl, I didn't ask for fire. I asked for water in a bottle for free, preferably.
That's a good point. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good point. That's a good point. You're doing all of this stuff, but then you can't get free bottle refills, or you have like, not enough toilets, or like you said before, the drinks, drinks are like 30 quid for like, or $30 for like a mixer. That's a bit crazy. That's a bit nuts. I get that. But to be fair as well to these places, the amount of money they're spending on a refurb, they're gonna have to claw those costs back, especially with these cancelled events. So the drink prices are always gonna be high in a place like that.
Don't want any whistles, and the only bells should be by Jeff Mills. Capiche?
That's funny. I don't know. I get where they're coming from. I understand where this person's coming from. Big up Griffin, Max, Brooks. But I don't know, man. I don't think they should be punished for trying. It didn't work out. Maybe the promoters, maybe the owner made a lot of false promises. Maybe there was a lot of bravado, ego involved in it. Maybe there's a hint of Fire Festival-ish about this whole thing about, selling people dreams and shit. And maybe a lot of people, because I think I saw in the NYC rave section, a lot of people were basically calling this out from the beginning, saying that it was never going to get done on time. I think I saw some people actually in the New York City Raves subreddit basically driving past the Mirage location and taking pictures of the building site saying this is not going to open on time and it's impossible. And obviously on Reddit, there's always somebody on there who kind of knows somebody that works in the industry or is like a contractor and shit. Who are like, yeah, look, I work in this industry. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way they're going to complete the renderings or get anywhere close to it in the time frame that they said. So I think for a lot of people who bought tickets in advance, it's disappointing, especially in a place like America. I'm assuming a lot of these artists, especially European ones, probably don't maybe tour there as often. You're going to be hella disappointed if this thing you've been looking forward to for time gets postponed or cancelled lastminute.com. Like, I think a Sarah Landry event actually was meant to kick off over there, and that got cancelled lastminute.com. And people were really upset about that as well. So even though Sarah Landry sorted people out, by the way, which, that the more and more I hear about Sarah Landry, like, except for the music, I'm not really the big fan of what she does music wise, and DJing is not for me. But the more I hear of her, she sounds like a real good person. Like, I think I saw a post of her basically going out of way to say, hey, if you bought tickets to this event, you're gonna get refunded. You could swap them for another event I'm doing. She basically, like, lastminute.com organized another place, another location to do the event that she's meant to do at fucking Mirage somewhere else and shit. And judging by the pictures I saw online, people seem to have a good time. So she seems to be a really decent person, but I can get the frustration. I can really get the frustration, but I think a lot of this can't be blamed on the owners for trying to do a thing. It's not a bad thing to trying. I wouldn't really blame them for trying.